So we're back with this one. We'll be going on dyno soon. I've just been messing around with the heat management and turbo side of stuff. Same turbo obviously that it was. I don't know, can't remember what it was now. If I've got the photo, I'll post up the oh gosh, the compressor map. Can't remember exactly, but you know, we're limited to about 60, well, under 60 pounds or around 60 pounds of air at best. The heat management was the thing we're looking at. So there's the old heat management. It's like this, really flexible, and it was basically just resting against the manifold and turbo and stuff, which is obviously why it's destroyed that. So I've got a photo that I'll put up now. Hopefully I've got that photo anyway. If not, good pulls. It was basically the oil feed line was touching the exhaust housing. So, and then that sheet just went straight across the back, and like I say, was touching basically the turbo, the manifold, everywhere. So I've redone, and the coolant line was very close and it actually melted. Let's see if I can find that. Nope. Not that one. Yeah, so here's the coolant line. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see it. Basically, that's just started to sink in and melt. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so that's just started to sink in and actually melt where it was basically on the exhaust manifold. So I've done away with all these weird rubber lines that sort of, you know, there's two rubber lines. They were wrapped pretty well, but obviously, you know, it's just not ideal. So we've gone for AN lines. They're PTFE, but the turbo is now, if you can see that, the turbo is now, it's not the best video, but turbo is now bagged, left the exhaust open, and I've built a heat shield. So it's just a sheet of alley, as you can see, that's sort of shaped to go down, but it's got Fibrotechnic or something like that heat shield, which can take, like, you know, 1,000 degrees one side and it's 25 the other. So hopefully there is a join line down the bottom, but hopefully that's not going to cause a problem. And then obviously it's heat shielded in. The PTFE line, that's the top line, still runs into the rubber hose, and we've got a push fit there, and the other one runs, instead of running up, so they both used to run straight up. Yeah, so they used to both run straight up. Now this is angled like towards the compressor housing, and the same with the other coolant one. It's sort of out, it's going out the back, or down and out the back, instead of going straight up and then being close to the exhaust system. So that runs right round. It's one of these ones, this one here. I can feel it slightly warm actually. And then that runs down to under there. Again, you just got a push fitting under there. Oil feed line now, so you can see, let me zoom in, it will. Yeah, so there's the V-band started to come off, so basically the turbo was coming loose, but obviously this has all just got really hot. It's just, this was touching the exhaust turbine housing. So now it just runs around PTFE all the way through, and there's now a 90, which then allows it to be away from the exhaust housing. Hopefully in that photo you'll be able to see the way the sort of, you can't miss the exhaust housing if you've got a straight on there. And then there's enough clearance, but the bag's obviously on there, which is then taking up that clearance. But there was sort of like, I don't know, 10 mil or 8 mil clearance. Nah, probably 10 mil. Didn't take a photo, so but the bag's on there now. Have got heat covers coming for these as well, so I've just run it up for 5 minutes, but she's a bit low on oil, so just doing that. Unfortunately, there was a load of gook inside there. That could be from condensation. Hopefully it is. This engine sounds rattly, so like more bottom endy, but that could have been, I mean, to be fair, the bearings could be on their way out for the amount it was knocking and for how long it was knocking. I shouldn't think that they're in the best condition, but I'm going to top up the oil. It's on the level. It's on the minimum level, so it's fine. but I'll top it up with some fresh oil, and we'll do a service later. The 560 horsepower map is knocking its tits off, so I don't know what conditions it was tuned in. The rest of the maps seem fine, but I am gonna put the knock detection on this, get it all set up properly, and then we'll do a run as is, not changing anything on the ECU or boost or turbo or anything. All we've done is obviously replumbed the turbo coolant and lubrication side. So yeah, we'll run it first so we can actually see how much it knocks its tits off, because it is pretty catastrophic. So we're gonna take out the knock, then we're gonna give a safety margin, and then that's gonna lower the power a little bit, I would assume. Yeah, we'll just see how it goes from there. So we're basically up to temp now, 85 Celsius, fans still haven't cut in, but interestingly the Lambda's 0.76, which is like what, 11 and a bit AFR? Yeah, 11 and a half, something like that, I'd imagine. Pretty rich, I don't know why. Yeah, apparently these have got quite good wideband control. Reach temperature, no leaks, so I'm going to put all the turbo stuff back on now, which is only really the outlet pipe from the turbo and the intake system. I think that is it. I'm probably going to leave this cover off as it doesn't really do anything anyway. That's hot, don't put your hand on that. Everything else seems to be fine. Yeah, can't see any issues, so probably do a couple of a bit of running on the dyno just to double check that everything's okay. And I've never used this Ecutek, so we're going to have to try and plug that in, figure out how the hell we get connected and stuff like that. I've only had a quick look at the software and a few of the maps on it. So he has also got the little green adapter, which allows you to connect your mobile phone. So I don't really know about that either. I don't have the app. I don't really want to get the app to mess about with it, but there's some OBD port there that says AEM on it, so that's interesting. All right, so I'm gonna clear up all of this mess, and then we will probably drop it back on the dyno, because I've gone forward so I can get to pipes and things. We are set up on the dyno, and I'll just walk through. We've got boost, which I'm taking actually from the fuel pressure regulator, which runs around to the top of the manifold here. Knock sensor, only one, placed on top of the inlet manifold. It's gonna be absolutely fine. Yes, it would be better on the block. No, I can't get to it, and the sound off of this is absolutely you know, good as gold. We're taking RPM off of the ignition pickup, injector pickup. So basically we splice in between the injectors, get an RPM signal for the dyno, so we don't take into account wheel slip and stuff like that. This is RPM pickup for the Plex knock monitor, which you also need to run a earth line, which is down here, and we earth the dyno itself, so it basically goes from there around into there. So it's the car is earthed to the dyno. There's a lot of static energy that is created when you're on the dyno, and you can have dodgy wiring for cars and stuff like that, so we always earth, otherwise you get like flickering screens and stuff. Sometimes you can't get rid of it, it's just like RF coming off of the actual car itself. 2 straps over the wishbones, and we're side strapped to stop it moving. We've got chocks in there. Basically the chocks are going to do 99% of the work. Those are going to stop it going left to right. They will stop it coming forward, but mainly that's down to the chocks. Just want to throw out as well, I just came around the front to see if there's any drips underneath before we run it, and the fans are blowing the wrong way. The fans are blowing the hot air forward, not backwards. But yeah, hold down the cancel, and then you can go up and down on the set and whatever. Oh, hold on. And then you can select your map. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4, and no, that's it. So we'll set it at 1. This should be basically no boost, I assume, or wastegate boost, which in this case, that wastegate's got a 3 psi spring on it. So maybe that's not, maybe that's in the software, but we're not going to get into that just yet. We're going to get the power run down under our belt, and we're going to log and listen the knock level so we can sort out the threshold. Right, so basically we're going to set this, I'll put this rough threshold in. I've just done a couple of runs. For some reason the car's now running at 0.6, and you can see when I rev this, it populates these little dots. Well, yeah, she doesn't want to run this ridge. Yeah, so we'll just do a quick run and I'll listen to make sure there's no actual knock, and then you'll see these plot basically. It's not the smoothest thing in the world. I could slow down the run actually. I might do this in change the power run mode, so it's a little bit slower going through the RPM range, and then that will slow these plots down a bit. Let's do that. I'm pretty sure that this is just going to be all over the place and very hard to do a video for. So basically I'm going to carry out a power run. First of all, I need to actually put it in here. Run the car, and you can see the threshold that's already been set up there. So right, we're in fourth gear. I'll load up the dyno, do that left side, and hopefully you'll be able to see the knock threshold as it runs through. It's not that easy. Right, so basically I've set the threshold. You can't see the dots that came up because they disappear after a while, which is annoying. You can see on here, when we set the threshold, this is the engine noise along the bottom in yellow, and the blue line is the threshold. This bit up here wasn't knock, I just haven't adjusted it fully. Sometimes there's a dot up there, sometimes there's not. And as you can see, I've done a whole bunch of runs just in low boost mode without it knocking, and there's no knock happening there. So I could raise that threshold up, but I know it's gonna knock. So what we really want to do is see what knock really looks like on this screen. So I think I'm gonna just cool it down and make sure there's no leaks, because I've done about sort of 10-15 runs there. And once that's done, we'll run it back up again, and then we'll check for, well, we'll go through the boost modes. Right, so obviously I've just run it, I've just checked the levels and stuff like that, make sure there's no drips, blah blah blah, all done. Everything's fine. So we have a bump here in the air-fuel ratio, which I'm assuming is when VTEC cuts in. Obviously it's almost impossible to tell when it's turbo because it's so silent, and I'm not doing any data logging yet, so we're still setting up the knock control. But it runs fairly rich at the top end, but here's all right. I mean, it's just this little bump on peak torque as the boost comes on, but this is your boost curve, so you know it does all right. Obviously I've only set it to 1 bar, so it climbs to half a bar by 4,700, and then obviously tracks up to 15 psi as it struggles to hold 15 psi, tracks up to 0.6, 0.7 of a bar. It's a 3 psi spring. I don't really know why that's in there. I would assume more of a, I mean, looking at that, the 10 psi spring or 7 psi spring would be a lot better. But nonetheless, if we just check the power figures, so we'll set that up as torque, set that up as, so there we are. We 250 pounds-foot of torque, give or take, and 350 horsepower. So that's setting 1. obviously I've done all these power runs before. It's not really riding the front roller and stuff like that. I'm not really interested in that. It's tuning the car, not getting a power figure. Well, editing the tune, not really tuning it, but we'll get into that. So yeah, now everything seems okay. We'll do the other 4 modes. We'll look for knock, well, we'll listen for knock, and we'll look on the screen, see where my threshold is, and I'll be able to hear knock, and then obviously I'll indicate that it has properly knocked, and then we can set a threshold that's much more suitable. These things take basically calibration and time to sort out properly. It is rich on idle for some unknown reason. I don't know whether the wideband control's been turned off or whatever, but when we get into the map side of stuff, then we can check that. Hopefully I'll remember. Other than that, do we need to know what duty cycle the injectors are running at? Let me just... yeah, so we're at 55%, something like that currently. Yeah, let's do power run number 2 and then we'll check that. Saw how that basically makes big power. Well, it knocked its tips off, and that's the difference between knock and a threshold. See how it's made this line look so tiny? So that is it knocking basically, yeah, massively. Now you can't say we haven't got big enough cooling because it's not even getting warm. It's literally just knocking. So if I just clear that, what we'll probably do, we'll probably just run across, give ourselves a bit more clearance. So there's the pre-calibrated run with the sensor gain turned down slightly. Okay, so here we are. We've I thought map 4 was like the big boy map, but it seems to be like low boost. Map 3 seems to be the biggest map on there. Knock though, definitely knocks, and I've recorded it, so we can actually stop logging now. And I should be able to download it into this, and then hopefully you can actually hear it knock. But that graph there shows you obviously, you know, how it was. So if I clear this off like before, that's how it should look after every run. It shouldn't be way up, but obviously that knock level is straight up. So let's I'll see if I can get this log on here, and hopefully I can show you and you'll be able to hear. Okay, so this is a fairly complex bit of software. So I did the recording on here. I've got a little USB stick, loaded up the file. I did 3 power runs, as you can see. Is that blurry or is it my hand? It's my hand. Yeah, I did 3 power runs. This was obviously low boost, and then the 2 middle ones. But we just go back all the way. In fact, down here you can see that you've got like a knock level. It's not the actual sensor, but it doesn't really matter because I've set it up pretty well. So you can see there's 3 runs here, and this is the big boost one. So if we zoom in on this, if I actually zoom in on that, you can see here that it's counted knock, or had a knock level event. This is sensor 2, so this doesn't even work, but even with it not working, it's actually still picking up, as in it's not got a sensor attached to it, but the noise coming from the engine, it's still picking it up. So normally it should look like that because it's not in use. and that's what it should look like when you've got something plugged into it. So you can, if I start here, you can see this is just the engine running, and then that will smooth out as we pick up the RPM, and hopefully I can show you a knock event. So that is a knock event just there, that little line. It does come up all right on the phone, and then you see the next knock event. Oh. So first knock event, second knock event, there was 2 little knocks, so hopefully you can see that, them and them 2 there. And then if we keep going, we get to the big knock event, and you can see that huge jump there, and even on the other side, which shouldn't be reading, it's reading. And I don't know what this knock event here is. You can see that's quite clear. That knock event there is something to do with me coming off the throttle. I don't know whether it's the throttle shutting or something like that, but it's just got a little knock event. So, I don't know if you're going to hear this, but hopefully you are. So let's just play this. And you can hear that N1 definitely. So let's have a little, I'm just going to put you right up against it. Alright, so hopefully you heard that. I don't know if you did or not. It's quite difficult, so we'll just pull that. I'm just going to run it the second harmonic, and basically that might clear it up. So it's clearer because it's quieter. As we can try a couple of others. So 6.5, 7, 8, I think it was, wasn't it? So if you listen to it at 8, maybe it'll come out on the speaker. We'll try a few. So this is a 7,000. That N1's really visible. Maybe. So we try 14,000. I mean, I can hear them. I can try 15, somewhere in the middle. I can definitely hear them here, so 15 is going to be 7.5. Yeah, that's quite. They're there. If you can't hear them, they are there. So yeah, basically that will be it for today. We will plug onto the ECU probably, I don't know, Saturday maybe, it being Thursday's day. I'm on the dyno all day tomorrow. So anyway, that's the software. It's really smart. This thing's really cool.